Councilman Cardicchini,
Not present.
Supervisor Keating,
Present.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Present.
Councilwoman Martin.
Present.
Mr. Shear, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor, you have the floor.
As well, for Faith United Church of Christ, thank you for the opportunity. Let's pray. God, we are thankful for this town of Boston, New York. We're thankful especially for all those who serve our town in various ways, for police and firefighters and first responders, and for all those in their various positions that serve our town and township. We ask your blessings on this community and for communities everywhere, especially those with hardships and that must be with tragedies. We ask blessings of wisdom and grace on all of us, especially on this board, that there may be a spirit of cooperation and creative inspiration as they do what needs to be done in the service of our community. May the work of this board enrich and be a blessing for this town and for all of its citizens and for the members of the board, tonight and always. Amen.
Thank you. All right, for preliminary matters, we do have a guest of honor in the courtroom tonight. So actually, Fred Shear, I'm going to come down. I have two proclamations, one from the town and one from Legislator Mills. All right. So the town board, we gathered some information with some of your fellow colleagues here from the North Boston Fire Hall, and the Town of Boston proclamation reads as follows. Whereas, it is a momentous occasion to celebrate an incredible life and accomplishment of Frederick Shear on his 100th birthday, and whereas, Frederick Shear was born on December 3rd, 1923, to J. Raymond and Florence M. Owen Shear, and he is the oldest of 5 siblings and was raised in Buffalo, New York. In 1941, he graduated from Riverside High School and went on to serve our country in the United States Navy. Thank you for your service. Whereas, during the tumultuous years of World War II, Frederick Shear served his country with honors and distinction as a member of the United States Navy from 1943 through 1946, specializing in communications. The service included a significant period in Cherbourg, France, from July 1944 to July 1945. And later as a part of the destroyer escort from August 1945 to March 1946, showcasing his unwavering commitment and defense to freedom. And whereas, upon his return from military service, Frederick Shear contributed to the telecommunications industry, working for the New York Telephone Company from 1946 to 1984 as an installer and repairman in Buffalo, retiring after an impressive 39 and a half years of service. Whereas in 1949, Frederick Shear married Phyllis J. Mesmer, and together they moved to Boston in 1954, where they raised 2 children, Mark and Kyle. Frederick Shear is blessed with 4 grandchildren, 6 great-grandchildren, further extending his legacy through the generations. Whereas Frederick Shear's commitment to the community service is exemplary, having been an active member of the North Boston Volunteer Fire Company since May of 1956, where he has served for over 50 years and held the esteemed position from 1971 to 1973. He has also been a devoted member of Faith United Church of Christ since 1960, contributing to the spiritual well-being of the community. And whereas Frederick Shear, driven by an unwavering commitment to community service, has generously donated an extraordinary 23.5 gallons of blood to the Red Cross, which each pint of those gallons saving up to 3 lives. Frederick Shear's altruism and positively impacted approximately 564 lives in Western New York community with that blood donation. Whereas centenarians, as individuals age 100 or older, represent less than 1% of the United States population and rightly deserve a celebration. Now therefore be proclaimed that the Town of Boston Town Board, on behalf of the residents of the Town of Boston, extend our heartfelt honor and celebration to Frederick Shear for his extraordinary life, his selfless dedication to both country and community, and for achieving the centurion status on December 3rd, 2023, from the town board. Congratulations and happy birthday. Yes, it has. That's impressive. And Legislator Mills, well, we did reach out from Legislator Mills' office. He has a proclamation, and sadly, he couldn't be here tonight, he had another commitment, but he did ask to read this on his behalf. From the Erie County Legislature, it states and reads as follows. I hereby certify at a regular session of the Legislature of Erie County, held in County Hall in the city of Buffalo on the 7th day of December, a resolution was adopted of which the following is a true copy, celebrating Frederick J. Shear on his 100th birthday. Whereas Erie County Legislature commemorates and recognizes certain milestones celebrated by citizens of this great country, and whereas the longevity of his life is a blessing for an individual and for a community that benefits from the wisdom, knowledge, creativity, and experiences from its members. And whereas Frederick J. Shear was born to J. Raymond Shear and Florence Owen Shear on December 3rd, 1923, the eldest of the 5 siblings, raised in Buffalo, graduated from Riverside High School, and whereas during World War II, Frederick J. Shear served as in the U.S. Navy from 1943 to 1946, specializing in communications and stationed in Schurzburg, France, according to the Allied efforts with a dedication and valor. And whereas Frederick J. Shear married Phyllis, the love of his life, on January 22nd, 1949, and in 1954, the couple moved to the town of Boston, where they raised their 2 children, Mark J. and Kyle J., and were blessed with 4 grandchildren and 6 great-grandchildren. Whereas Frederick J. Shear's commitment and community service is evident by his active membership in the North Boston Fire Company since 1956, serving for over 50 years and holding the position of chief from 1971 to 1973. And whereas Frederick J. Shear has generously donated 23.5 gallons of blood, demonstrating his commitment to the well-being of others, and is a respected member of the Faith United Church of Christ. Now therefore be resolved, the Erie County Legislature pauses in its deliberations to honor and celebrate Frederick J. Shear on his 100th birthday, and wishes him a happy birthday and many more productive years. Signed with Legislator Mills. Once again, happy birthday. All right. And again, happy birthday from all of us here from the town board and the town hall. All right, moving on to regular business tonight, which is our item number 2, is the item number 1 is the correction and adoption of the minutes from the November 1st, 2023 board meeting. And Councilwoman Sully, would you like to take that?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. After reviewing the minutes from the November 1st meeting, I'd like to make a motion to approve them as written.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes?
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek? Abstain. Councilwoman Martin?
Abstain.
Motion failed.
Just for the record also, so two board members did abstain. Town board meeting minutes do not technically need to be voted on or passed. It's just a matter of formality. It's something that we've always kind of adopted and done, but so that there's no negative effects with that motion not passing. Item 2 is a consideration of all fund bills. And Councilwoman Lukacek, would you like to take the fund bills?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. He's doing this because I missed a couple meetings. All right. After review of the fund bills, the journal number AP-4109 and the journal AP-4126, I make a motion that the total payables due is $391,632.23.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes?
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, moving on to item number 3, which is our correspondence. We have 15 items of correspondence tonight that was in the board packet. All of the items that are being read off have been received and filed in the town clerk's office, and again, available in the town board packet for viewing. Item 1 is a dispatch call summary reports for October 2023 for the Boston Emergency Squad, Boston Fire Company, North Boston Fire Company, and Patchen Fire Company. Item 2 is the dog control officer's report for October 2023. Item 3 is the town clerk's report for October 2023. Item 4 is a letter from the Erie County Water Authority, extract minutes regarding their tariffs. Item 5 is a resignation letter from David Bowen from the Planning Board. Item 6 is a letter from NYSEG, New York State Electric and Gas, for a smart meter upgrade program. That is something, there was some question in the community if that was something that's going to actually happen here in Boston. It is something that is going to actually officially take place here in Boston, probably not until the tail end of next year. At least that's their timeline that they're on. Item 7 is a outstanding compliance training letter. That is for the state mandated training that New York State requires all state employees to go through. Item 8 is a October 2023 income statement. Item number 9 is an October 2023 monthly cash balances as we roll up to the end of the year. Item 10 is a letter from the New York State Comptroller's Office regarding the tax cap review for the 2024 budget. That's something that the State Comptroller Office is doing now for municipalities all across New York State, ensuring that municipalities are complying with it at 2% tax cap, and if they do happen to go over it, there has to be a local law and other formalities. So that was, just wanted to include that for the communication to the public. Item 11 is an application for use of meeting facility for the Boston Seniors Club for a board meeting date for 2024. Item number 12 is an application for use of meeting facility for a Wednesday game day for 2024. Item 13 is another application of use of meeting facility for Thornwood Park HOA for their annual meeting. Item number 14 is a letter from the Erie County Water Authority regarding the 2024 and 2025 construction projects going on with the water in the town of Boston. Item 15 is another letter from the Erie County Water Authority regarding the secondary supply to the town of Boston. Moving right along to our business. First item of business is requests from the floor. So I will open up the floor for any public comments or concerns. If you do come up to the microphone, just please kindly state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes each. The floor is open.
I want to thank the board, and I want to thank the supervisor and the highway department supervisor for allowing me this time to address the board regarding my concern and our concerns. This all has to do with, and I'm certain you've heard from people like me in the past 10 years or 12 years. I live on Back Creek Road. And the storm of 11/27 was a normal storm. Unfortunately, the road was not plowed, it was impassable. And I realize it's an Erie County road. And caveat emptor, let the buyer beware before he purchases his property. And I purchased the old Watkins nursery land, and I knew that it was an Erie County road. Unfortunately, Erie County is not addressing my concerns. They are going on deaf ears. And it is of no concern to the highway superintendent, or maybe the town board at this time, because of the fact that they are responsible for addressing my concerns. I spoke with Tony, the town supervisor at the Erie County Barns, over on Southwestern Boulevard. And I will explain that I was very calm and cool, although I was very concerned about not being able to get up my road, leaving the house at 4 p.m. and returning at 11 p.m. and realizing that there was, because I measured it, 14 inches of snow in the road and 14 inches of snow in my driveway, unplowed. And I will tell you, I went to bed at 2 o'clock, and I seriously doubt if it was plowed in 13 hours, because they normally, ever since I made attention to the school bus coming up from Hillcroft up to Back Creek, being stalled, and they had to send another bus to take the kids off and whatnot. Erie County had, and it was posted on Channel 2, I guess, but ever since, Erie County has plowed prior to them 5 o'clock, the buses going to pick up the children, and then usually around 1 or 2 o'clock before they go home. The late students, I'll be honest with you, are left on their own. But the road was not plowed. And my concern is gonna be the concern of every resident on that Erie County road, every resident in the town of Boston, every resident that you pledged that you would provide safety and health concerns to when you took office. My concern is that there will be a time, and we're honoring some nonagenarians and centenarians here tonight. Well, there's one that lives on my road, 102 years old, the most beautiful woman you'd ever want to know. And she's lived in this town for 102 years. God forbid if her or any of us need emergency medical service during the time of a snow. I'm not talking about a snowstorm. I'm talking about a snow event like we had on Monday, the 27th. And I don't know if it concerns some or all, but I'm gonna ask a favor of you. I want you to close your eyes. I mean, really close your eyes and think about your mom having a heart attack, a sugar attack, a stroke, calling 911 and asking for help. And she's at her ends with, and the operator is telling her, yes, help is on the way. We're there, just hold on. We're gonna be there, we're only minutes away. Only to find out that they can't get up that hill from Back Creek, or from Hillcroft to Back Creek. Only to find out that she dies a slow, painful, a lone death. She's afraid, and it can happen. It happened in the city of Buffalo this past year. And some valuable grandmothers, mothers, fathers, daughters, whatever, were lost only because we were unable to plow the streets. Now, I'm gonna tell you that I can tell you that a volunteer fireman is going to take it personally. If he can't get to that person and save their life, or if he can't, if the police can't get to a situation where there's a call for a break-in, or there's a fire, you're allowing these people to live with that for the rest of their lives, knowing that they weren't able to do what they're trained to do. I'm asking you, and I know that in the 80s and 90s, when I first moved into the property in 2000, for 10 years, I could not believe the service that I received from the town of Boston, the highway department. Unbelievable. I grew up on Lakeshore Road in Wanaka, and believe me, I could tell you some atrocious conditions on Lakeshore Road. There was a time where I could not believe what the plow driver was doing. I would give him a bottle of wine. I would give him a gift certificate for the Christmas period. They just went above and beyond. And I made a Facebook post, only because I'm not a Facebook person or a social media person, but I wanted the attention brought to this and to the town residents on what we can possibly do to have the town assume the responsibilities like they did years past, be paid and compensated. And I realized that there was 12 years ago, there was a $5,000 dispute. I really do not know much about it, all the fact that we weren't compensated like we probably maybe should have been. I don't know if we pursued it with the town attorney, if he may have suggested not to litigate because we didn't have a case, or if it was litigated and we lost it in court. I don't know. All I'm saying, we've had 11 to 12 years to reassess the situation, our decision not to go into contract and provide the necessary services that that Boston residents on Boston town roads receive, deserve, and appreciate. So I'm asking you, I'm imploring you, to keep it in-house. We don't want to have to go and get petitions from every resident, from the police, from the school superintendents, from the fire department, to have the town of Boston provide better service. It's Erie County's job. They're not doing it. We all know they're not doing it. How can we force them? I don't know. All I know is that the solution is that what was done back in the 80s and 90s and the early 2000s, and I don't know how far before the 1980s, all I'm asking for is for you to consider and give credence to the fact of having us assume this special service to the town of Boston. And I thank you for your effort and your concern.
Sir, if I may, what was your name and what was your?
I'm sorry, my
That's
name
okay.
is Robert M. Hoff. I live at 8843 Back Creek Road, and I purchased the property at the old Watkins Nursery, and I built a home there about 22 years ago.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Mary Ann Salins. I live on Lever Road. and I'm here because of your Facebook post. I was coming from the city on the 27th of November, bringing my daughter home she had surgery, she was released from the hospital. We started seeing the traffic on the 190 already backed up, no snow, but I thought there was an accident. We get to Ridge Road, it's icy. We start going south, it took us an hour and a half to get into Boston. There was no plows on the 219, no state plows, and I have to ask if somebody could direct me, who should I contact regarding state plowing? However, I get into Boston, and Boston State Road was horrific, and it was slow going, and we got home, and I was just frustrated because for the last couple months, everybody's been talking about the snow plans. We heard about Buffalo, it's on the news almost every day, the county, the snow plow plans, they talked about what happened last year. I was tired of hearing of it. I live on Liebler, and my street, I could set my watch how well it's plowed and sanded, and thank you for that. I appreciate that. Boston State Road, and it's because of the dispute with the county, is not plowed. The next day, my husband and I headed out. Boston State Road was rocky, pits, not salted. We get to Zimmerman, and it's dry, it's wet. And that's Hamburg. And whatever the dispute is with the county, I know it was a previous administration that had that, but what can we do to help you get to the county and resolve this about, I didn't know Boston Back Creek Road was there, but also Boston State Road. How are the police and the fire, how are they gonna get through the road to even get to Liebler if I do need help? You know, but if I mean, we saw so many cars off to the road, and thankfully, you know, we didn't want to get stuck because she just had surgery, but, I mean, it could have happened. We were going 20, 25 miles an hour on 219, and it wasn't a major snowstorm. What's going to happen if we do get a major snowstorm? I'd really like some advice as to, as a taxpayer, how do I get to the county to address this? Will you help me or help the citizens to approach this so that the county roads in this town are taken care of? Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you.
Wendy O'Brien, 4718 North Boston Road. I'm just gonna be a pain. I just want to say that if there is any way anybody on the town board has an in with the county or the state or anything to do with emergency services, we would appreciate support. We are holding it together with a small crew, an older crew. We're doing their best. We are at about 650 calls already. And anything that's going to assist us to cover the entire town of Boston would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Paul Blake. I live at 7737 Boyer Road. Yesterday, when I was at work, Thomas Murphy, the code enforcement officer, dropped this letter off at my house about a gate that I placed on the easement that the town has with the Erie County Water Authority. And it says that a building permit was not sought as required by the town of Boston. I spoke with Mr. Murphy this afternoon. We had a very fruitful conversation. I didn't believe that building permit was required because it wasn't a 6-foot fence. I believe that the code says anything above 6 feet or above, you have to get a permit, so I thought I was in compliance because it's not 6 feet. And there's an allegation here that the gate restricts access to the water tower for sampling and testing, endangering the health and welfare of those using the water for their domestic supply. So I've been in contact with Scott, I think his name's Kulik or Klubik, I probably butchered his name, but he's one of the bosses for Erie County Water. I spoke with him months before I installed this gate. He said, as long as we have the code, we're good to go. I've given him the code. There's a battery backup, so if the power fails, the gate still works. And there's a manual unlock with a key, but they also have access to in a key box that has the same code as the gate entry. So there's never a time when anybody couldn't access it. The reason for the gate was not to restrict the town, Erie County Water. I have a gas well on my property, so the gas company also comes down there. There was a lot of people coming back there because it's a road that goes to the woods to a field. So what do people do? They see a dirt road in the country, they use it, right? They drive their four-wheelers back there, side-by-sides. There's been 2 accidents since I lived there on my property where property damage was caused for people going back there in a car that they buried up to the frame in the cornfield. There was a van. I have pictures, and I apologize because I just got this last night, so I didn't have time to prepare. There's a 600 PSI storage gas well on my property. And a van that had no reason to be back there was looking for someone's house, thought it was a public road, drove down it, came 3 inches from the gas well and got stuck in the ditch and had to be towed out of there. I talked to the foreman for the gas company. He's like, if he had hit that well, that would have been catastrophic. It's a high volume, high pressure well. So for 3 years, I've had a chain across that roadway where the Erie County Water guys would come up, put the chain down, plow the road, drive through, get their access to the water. And I just thought, man, this is so inconvenient. Every time you pull in, you gotta get out, unhook it, drive back there. I use it as my driveway. I was like, why don't I put a power mechanism, like a garage door opener, so we could all, so I reached out to Erie County Water. I talked to the Scott, who's the boss. I've been there 6 years. I've been talking to him. He's like, as long as my guys have access, I'm good with it. So I gave him the code for a month prior to this letter. They've been using it. They've plowed up there. I've talked to plenty of the guys. They've been going up there, water tower every day. I have video of them coming up there every day. So I just received this complaint. I just wanted to open the air. It wasn't like, hey, screw the town or Erie County. That wasn't the intention of this at all. It wasn't to keep the people and the powers to be that have the easement access to it, to use it. It was just to keep the people who aren't supposed to be there off of it, because people are treating it like a public access highway. I'm a really neighborly guy, but I'm an outdoorsman. I hunt. People are bird watching. They're riding their side-by-sides, horses. There's been 2 accidents back there. So there's been property damage, and that's all. It's just meant to keep people that believe it to be a public access road. It's not. And like I said, there's battery backup. There's a manual key that unlocks it, and everyone who needs it or wants it that has a legitimate reason there, we have given it to. We gave it the code to Tom Murphy today. We explained the whole thing to him. So I just wanted to come here and clear the air. I got this letter. I wanted to get it out in the open and work with whatever and do whatever I got to do to fix this problem or make it right or contact whoever we have to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Paul, I know you and I chatted a couple of times, in the past. If you have the time tonight, I'd be happy to meet up with you after the meeting.
Absolutely.
I don't know if, Tom and his resolve thing, truthfully, the reason, what generated that, what provoked that letter, Water Authority surprised, I'll try to follow through this, Scott, I don't know if he's a foreman, I'm not sure his title, but the Water Authority reached out to the town. They had concerns with that, but we can talk, it doesn't have to go on town record. We can certainly have that conversation if you have the time tonight.
Absolutely.
Or we can connect tomorrow, whatever's best for you.
Yep, I'm free.
Okay, so sounds good.
So thank you guys very much.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Hey, and I wanted to say congratulations and thank you for your service. As a fellow veteran myself, thank you for your service.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Kevin Tock. Our family has lived on Back Creek Road, 8053, since 1972. Growing up as a kid, we had these awesome plows that came down the road. I was so enthralled with this, I actually, for elementary school, I think I went and met with Chris Bender, talked to him about the plows and stuff like that, and it was really great. But I left town, I came back about 5 years ago, prior to knowing what was going on. I just noticed that the service on Back Creek Road was really subpar. My father's 85 years old. The same thing, speaking to other people that have mentioned, if something happens, it would be great to have service to get people in and out quickly. So when I was a kid, and I first got my driver's license, 15, 16 years old, my mother let me drive home one day. So we came down Back Creek Road, and there was about 4.5, 5 inches of slush on the road. And I'm in our Ford Aerostar. And so the road hadn't been plowed, it was probably Saturday morning or something like that, coming back from getting a haircut. My mom's in the car, my brother's in the car. Car starts sliding off the road, I cut the wheel hard, it grabs the gravel, it throws me across the road into a 77 Dodge Cordova, right? Like those cars are like 28 feet long, right? And they were made out of steel. So anyways, I hit this car, right, and full on head on in the corner. Hit the steering wheel, I'm still missing teeth, you know, I spent probably 6 hours in the hospital, 4 hours in Dr. Hertz's office, getting my teeth hammered back into place and stuff like this. I don't know if anybody else has ever had any accidents on Back Creek Road. I feel like I'm the person that can speak out to this, and I don't wish that to happen to anybody. And I know there's lots of stuff going on with the highways and stuff. My father was the regional planner for an area in Chautauqua County years ago. My mother was on the Conservation Advisory Board here in the town of Boston for years. She did the original gymnastics program at the Boston Valley School. We've been here for years. But, you know, the 219 was a state road, right? So that used to get plowed by the state, and somehow the county screwed up on it because they ended up plowing it and they could have taken money somewhere here and there. So there's all these histories about like who's plowing what and stuff like this, but our tax money still as a Boston resident, right? Whether I live on Liebler Road and if the town plows it, right? Or the town chooses to plow something, but the plows still drive down Back Creek Road. And if I saw some report somewhere, it was at, what was it, $4,000 a mile, I think is, what does the county pay for mile?
Per lane mile, correct.
Per lane mile, right? So, new Back Creek, old Back Creek, right? You call it whatever. You know, there's 6 miles there, right? That's roughly what we've got. So, you know, if it's $12,000 and the county's gonna pay, say, hey, we can enter into a contract, we'll give you $12,000. There's no other road in Boston, like people in Lieber, sorry, you know, some that kind of road, like, they're like, hey, here, you have $12,000 to plow a road. I mean, like, fiscally, it doesn't seem like a bad deal if you can enter back into, I mean, bygones be bygones, but like, emergency issues, and I don't wanna, I mean, we had COVID and we had ambulances going down the road and stuff like that. I remember waking up to, you know, my neighbors and stuff, and you're like, emergencies are emergencies, and these are the people in the town of Boston. My mother was on the emergency squad here back in the day, you know, back in the 70s and stuff like that. So it's like, we're all the residents, you know, whatever we do, it's just like, we love the town park, we love the creek and stuff like that, and I just, you know, I'd like to see this all go away and drive down a road that isn't bumpy and not get hurt, and hopefully everybody else doesn't either. So I thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you.
Hi, Tammy Sean, 7691 Boston State. And I'm my first time at a meeting, so my anxiety's high.
Oh, you're okay.
But I'm also here for Marge Kruger,
Okay.
Barbara Shunk, and Maureen O'Brien.
Okay.
So there's 6 properties.
Right.
With waste management, we're having an issue. We've had drive-up service, history has been like 40 years. I've been in the town for about 15 years now, maybe longer. We've never had an issue, drive-up service. There is no property that is jointly owned, so I personally keep getting tags. We all decided we're not gonna bring our garbage way down to the end. Barbara Shunk, she can't do it anymore. Marge Kruger, her son lives there, he's in heart failure. I have 2 tenants that aren't at the best of health. I do know they do hate coming up that road. If you're familiar with the road, if there's a right of way, yeah. So they hate coming up it. However, plowing has been an issue in the past. However, I'm the one that personally plows all of them properties, except Mr. Carr's house. I do not do his, I do from the White House, mine, then Marge, Barbara, and Maureen O'Brien. So if plowing's an issue, call me directly. I take pride in what I do and never have any issues or complaints, and this would be the first. I've been plowing for about 13 years and knock on wood, no issues, and no complaints. But we haven't had our garbage picked up probably for about 5 weeks now. I've had issues in the summer with my house personally, Barbara Shunk too. Barbara Shunk's got I don't know if you're familiar with Barbara Shunk, but she's got a very strong personality, makes her point across, and I know that you have history with her actually personally dropping her garbage off out on the stairs. And which is right here at this hall, which I'm here to prevent that. And Marge Kruger, she's in Washington right now, doing CWA contracts. However, her primary location is in Pittsburgh, but owns the property out here. Noreen O'Brien lives in Florida, rents the property out here. And yeah, so as of right now, our garbage hasn't been picked up in like, I wanted, mine 6 weeks, theirs probably about 5 weeks. We've had issues all throughout since the new contract has been taking place. I have come to the town, complained many a times. They've done their best, sent an email, said that they didn't have a phone number. I went and got a hold of Waste Management myself, and the supervisor's been great as far as like if I call them, then, you know, they'll come out if I call Waste Management directly. And my last phone call is, yeah, we don't have the contract with you, we have the contract with Boston. So this is an issue. There's 6 houses that are, so, what do I do? I'm leaving here today, what are you guys gonna do? Because I gotta go back and tell these people something.
Yeah, I guess stepping out of format, I guess I'll say, Madam Clerk, am I correct? We have some email correspondence with Waste Management on that's correct?
Yes, we do.
Okay, yeah, I tell you what, if you also have the time, I can meet up with you, or if you want to, I can give you my card. I don't know if you have other obligations tonight, but I'd be happy to follow up with you, and I know we've had, to your point, we've had some conversations with Waste Management there. Even back before I became the supervisor, I was a solid waste liaison, so I've been dealing with garbage in town for 8 years now. I know there's challenges there, but yeah, even if we need to have a sit-down, meeting and try to resolve that, let's see what we can do. I don't recall, and I apologize, I don't recall exactly all the content that's in the email, but I know Waste Management did come back with some, at least their recommendations. I don't recall what those were off the top of my head, but again, we can certainly sit down and try to.
So the tags that we've been getting, as far as like the last one, the last time that they had picked up, it says they want it down at the end of the driveway. So if we bring it down at the end of the driveway, I personally don't have an issue doing everybody's garbage on my street and bring it down at the end of the driveway. But during winter, it's not feasible.
Yeah, I did it,
My garbage would end up on Barbara Shunk's, one of her rental properties. Her garbage would end up on Marge Kruger, one of their rental properties. Noreen O'Brien's garbage would end up on Barbara Shunk's. Granted, we're all family, but.
Yeah, I see your point, right, okay. Yeah, like I said, if you want to stay back, I'd be happy to meet up with you as well, or like I said, if you have other obligations, I can give you my card and we can connect tomorrow, whichever's.
Can we do that tomorrow if that's
Sure.
possible?
Absolutely.
I have a conference call that I
Yeah, no
don't want
problem.
to miss, if that's okay.
Feel free to give us a call tomorrow.
But I'm looking forward to the next meeting when we start coming.
Okay, good.
All right, I appreciate you, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming up, thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Yes.
Crossing the line. Record. Wow, that's crazy. Full circle.
Any other comments tonight? And I will follow up, in my report, I'll follow up in regards to the plowing. I've spent quite a bit of time with the county on the phone regarding our roads. Yeah, exactly. All right, with other further comments from the public, I will close the floor. All right, so moving right along into our new business. Item 2 is a request from the planning board for appointment of Arlene Weiss as a full regular member, bless you. And that term is through February 1st, 2027. And Councilwoman Lukacek, would you like to take that item?
Absolutely, Mr. Supervisor. So the planning board is requesting the appointment of Arlene Weiss, who has been a alternate to become a full-time member. to fill the position of David Bowen, whose ending term date is February 1st, 2027. Also then to appoint the Jessica Uhas to become a alternate member, ending term December 31st, 2025. I make a motion, we accept.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Supervisor Keane,
Pardon me. Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Absolutely.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item 4 under our new business, I'm going to make a motion to table this item. There was some discussion in executive session downstairs this evening. This will probably be added back onto the agenda at our reorganizational meeting, which is the first meeting in January of every year. But I'd like to make a motion to table item number 4, which is the appointment of a substitute assistant nutrition director.
A second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Supervisor Keane,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item 5 tonight under new business is resolution 2023-86, which is approving the collective bargaining agreement with the International Union of Operating Engineers Local 17. Hanson and Councilwoman Martin, would you like to take that item tonight?
Yes, Supervisor, Resolution 2023-86. Whereas the Town of Boston and the International Union of Operating Engineers Local 17 have met, negotiated, and reached a tentative agreement covering the calendar years 2024, 2025, and 2026. I make a motion for the town board and the Town of Boston hereby approve the collective bargaining agreement in substantially the form set forth in the current agreement as changed, amended, modified by the attached tentative agreement that hereby is incorporated by reference. I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Supervisor Keane,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item number 6 tonight is resolution 2023-87, which is allocating 2023 funds to the Ambulance Capital Reserve Fund. And Councilwoman Selby, would you like to take that item tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2023-87, which encompasses a contract for general ambulance services with the Boston Emergency Squad, and the town will make a contribution to the Ambulance Reserve Fund for the squad in the amount of $40,000 for the 2023 contract year. This capital reserve will be used for an ambulance at some point, because the current ambulance was purchased in 2008. So this is a very prudent allocation of funds that I'd like to make this motion on the table.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Supervisor Keane,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item number 7 tonight is a resolution again for number 2023-88, which is to remove and replace shop heaters in the Parks and Emergency Squad building. And Councilwoman Lukacek, would you like to take that item? Actually, Councilwoman Martin, actually, here's the liaison.
Resolution number 2023-88 is to remove and replace the shop heaters in the park and EMS building. There were 3 quotes that came in, and McAllister came in at the lowest cost of $5,750. So I make a motion to contract with McAllister Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling for that removal and replacement of the shop heaters at the parks and EMS building.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Supervisor Keane,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item 8 is resolution 2023-89, which is a document management software and services for our town clerk's office. And Councilwoman Lukacek, would you like to take that up?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. So I've done all this work all by myself, and I want to make the sorry, okay, I can't continue that. Our town clerk has done an exorbitant amount of work to determine what our needs are for the server that is not gonna last much longer. So thank you for all the background work for this and allowing me to present this for resolution. So 2023-89 is for the town's records, books, papers designated by our state as the records management officer, our town clerk. The DocuWare requires the one-time fee of the $4,300, which covers the installation, the cost of migrating existing records to the new system, as well as the project management. There is an annual license fee. Let's see, so I'm gonna read the final, okay, so everybody understands what we're doing here. We're authorizing our town clerk to enter into the agreement with Toshiba for DocuWare software and services at a total first-year cost of $7,600, which includes one-time implementation fee of the $4,300, and then an annual license fee of $3,300. So upfront costs, but then it's lesser as you go. This is gonna be cloud-wise, so we don't have to worry about the server crashing and then not finding documents that people, might want to see. So I make a motion that we approve.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukasik,
Sure.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes. Sorry, couldn't.
Motion carried, and thank you, town board,
You're
very much for
It's
your.
been a long time coming, so I'm glad you found what works. Thank you.
All right, item 9 is to schedule a public hearing for the 2024 ambulance service contract. So I'd like to make a motion to schedule the public hearing on January 3rd, 2024. That's our reorganization meeting, which is, as we kind of joke internally, that's our marathon meetings. That's where all the, everything gets structured for the new year. But I'd like to read the public hearing notice, and it reads as follows. Please take notice that the town of Boston, the Boston Town Board of Erie County, New York will hold a public hearing on January 3rd, 2024, at the town board meeting to extend the Boston Emergency Services contract for the purpose of furnishing ambulance service to the town of Boston Ambulance District in the amount of $94,424, which we allocated as follows. $67,000 for general operating costs, $13,000 for liability insurance, $14,424 as the usual annual installment due on September 29th, 2024 to Evans Bank for ambulance unit number 815, and together with the town's agreement to furnish certain facilities and to reimburse certain expenses associated with providing such ambulance service. Further, the ambulance district shall pay the squad an additional consideration under this contract, the amount collected by the billing service provider pursuant to the district's fee policy. Public hearing will be held at the Boston Town Hall, 8500 Boston State Road, Boston, New York, on Wednesday, January 3rd, 2024, at 7:40 p.m. All persons interested in the matter shall be heard either for or against at such time and place. And this will be dated December 8th, 2023, published on December 15th, 2023, by order of the town board, Sandra L. Quinlan, town clerk, and we are an equal opportunity provider. So I'd like to make a motion to schedule that public hearing on January 3rd.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukasik,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item 10 tonight is a application for use of facility from the Boston Young at Heart Seniors, meetings for 2024. And actually, we'll lump in item number 11 tonight, which is also an application for use of facility from the Boston Senior Club for meetings for 2024. Councilwoman Martin, would you like to take those two items?
Yes, Supervisor, the Boston Young at Heart Seniors request for their meetings the second and fourth Fridays, and the Boston Senior Club for their meetings ask for the first and third Fridays of the year 2024. They both require the town hall community room with kitchen and bathroom facilities. And I'm assuming those days are available with an acceptance of some conflicts during election season, correct?
Correct.
Okay, which the two clubs will be made aware of. But I make a motion to approve both these applications for use of facility.
If I may, just to make an amendment to that motion to waive the fee for the two senior clubs.
Oh, yes,
That's
yes,
okay.
definitely waiving the fee.
I second.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukasik,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item number 12 is another application for use of facility for Sean Vanderos for a birthday party. And Councilwoman Selby, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I have an application for use of facility from Sean Vanderos at 8406 Boston State Road. He is requesting December 17th from noon, 10 a.m. setup to 6 p.m. for a birthday party. And I assume this date is available.
Yes, it is.
And I'd like to make a motion to approve this application for use of facility.
Second.
Councilwoman Salvi,
Yes?
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, we have no old business tonight under our agenda, so we'll move on to reports and presentations, and Highway Superintendent, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. First, I'd like to announce that leaf pickup is pretty much over for the year. Every pile in town has been picked up right now. There's not one pile out there, so that's pretty much done. When the guys aren't plowing and stuff, they've been working on a 110-wheeler, putting a new floor in our dump box, putting a whole new steel floor in that. I'd like to thank the parks workers for putting up the Christmas decorations. They look really nice. They did a great job. As far as the manger scene, I'd like to thank Jay Jackson for kind of spearheading, getting the manger, the trailer all fixed up. Had Kirst Construction put a brand new roof on the thing, which they did a great job. And Mrs. Buckley and a few other ladies, they painted some of the statues and fixed them up that needed work. So I'd like to thank all of them. And then I'd like to thank my highway workers for the plowing they did on the 27th. Like they said, it was like 16 inches of snow in town. We got 6 workers in the highway department. They did a great job. They worked 3 different shifts where I got coverage on the hills 24 hours a day. But when we get a snowstorm that lasts for more than 12, 14 hours, the 2 men that do the subdivisions in the town, when they say they gotta go home and get some sleep, I don't have any coverage on any of the subdivisions for those hours because I only got 6 men. 2 men do the hills for 12 hours, the other 2 men come in, do the hills for 12 hours. So the hills, I got coverage for 24 hours. But I do not have men to do the county roads. If my men are doing the county roads, that means Leela Road and all the other town roads aren't going to get plowed near as much as they do now. If you have a problem, I think you should call Mark Bolencarz's office or John Mills. John Mills is a great guy and he might be able to help some of you out. But one of the biggest problems why we don't want to do the county roads is because of the conditions of the county roads. It's like last winter, the plow on Back Creek Road, just at the intersection of Patchen Road, was going down, caught the road, ripped the front plow right off the truck, and the truck drove up on top of the plow. Then you gotta, if it happened to my crew, then I gotta have my other plow drivers come back, help get that truck off the road, get it back to the shop, and they won't be plowing the roads. I don't have mechanics and other people to do that kind of work. The roads are in terrible condition. Back Creek Road's terrible, Bull Heater, South Abbott, you name it, just about every road in town is a county road. They don't take care of the paving in the summertime. Their ditches are full of muck. The water runs in the street. When that happens, when it's cold at night, it freezes up. The trees are dead, hanging over every county road in the town of Boston because they do not do no tree maintenance, very, very little. And then if you get a snowstorm and there's a tree that comes down, like when we used to plow the county roads, my driver would call me and say, hey, can you come and bring your saw and cut this tree up so we can get down the road? Because when it's snowing and blowing, it's hard to back a truck out of a road when there's a tree down across the road because there's no maintenance on the road. So the shoulders of the road, like Back Creek Road where Mr. Taka lives, there's a major 4, 6 inch, maybe 8 inch drop off on the edge of the road. And then if you get off the edge of that road in the wintertime and lose control of your car and the snow is on the road, I'm sure they're gonna say, well, the road was slippy, that's why the guy crashed and the little kid got killed. So, there's plenty of issues why we don't wanna plow the county roads. It's just that, it doesn't matter to me if we plow them or not, but I need more men, more trucks. It costs a lot more money. You know what? If the county would just do their job, it'd be great. Maybe we should be like the state, put gates on all of our roads, and every time we get a little snowstorm, we just drop the gate and tell people to stay home for a week. But our town highway department does a great job. Like I say, they work pretty much around the clock when we get a snowstorm. I don't have enough men to do more roads than we're doing at this time. Go ahead.
If I may, Robert, I'm going to say that that answer is unacceptable. I will say that the town has labored with plowing the streets forever, as I know it to be, forever. So I'm not gonna disagree with the road conditions. I will not disagree with you. I will say that Erie County has not had a problem going off the road either. I am saying for you guys to do the right decision like you did when you removed that snow out of Umphalias, and you worry about the cost later. Now, I'm not gonna say every town, but many of the large municipalities in Erie County have gone into contract with Erie County for the plowing of the roads. Now, I don't think it was done for monetary gratitude, although they did probably cover the cost. It was done for the safety and security of every resident, the pledge that you took when you took office. That's all I'm saying.
All right, when I started, we had 9 workers, we had 3 more workers.
And when they have to hire another worker.
Yeah, hire more,
And
man.
here's another thing, we get paid the same amount of money to do a lane mile of road that Grand Island gets, that Amherst gets, that Clarence gets. Very seldom get any snow.
Colden and Eden, they are in contract with Erie County. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, they are.
So there are outlying
On
towns.
some of the roads, not all of them, some of the roads.
No, but the ones that cause major concerns, they have stepped up to the plate. That's all I'm asking Boston to do and make the right decision, as if your mother, grandmother, grandfather lived on that road.
Well-
And you knew for a fact that you could get to them.
There was an audit that was conducted, I don't know how many years ago, and there was $1 million missing from the highway department. Whatever happened with that?
We went to a lot.
There was resolution on that. What was the resolution on that, Mr. Telak? How much money was missing from, that $1 million was missing from the term that you held in office?
Absolutely zero. Absolutely zero missing. None of the equipment was missing at all, 0, just to let you know.
Are you saying that audit was corrupted? That audit was false? All the information in that audit was incorrect?
Yes, that's what I'm saying, the audit was incorrect. The people that did it for the county didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know the difference between a snowplow truck and a backhoe. That's what I'm
Don't
saying.
scream at me, don't scream at the people in the county. If you're saying that it's corrupted, then go scream at the people at the county that corrupted it, not at me.
Bob, I think
Grow up.
all we're looking for is to have a fresh look at it to see if the money's coming in can justify the expenses going out. And I know that the residents are gonna benefit.
The roads would have to be reconditioned and fixed up that were safe to plow. They aren't at
So they're
this
not
point.
safe to drive on.
They're not safe to plow, no. They're very dangerous to plow, that's why the trucks rip their plows off. Some of the other roads and
Bob
none
has
of
brought this up many times to the town board and stuff, because I've sat in on the meetings being the deputy supervisor, which I am no longer at. We know that there's only about 8,000 residents in this town, tax-wise and everything else. There's only so much money coming in. If Bob took all his plows and used it to do the county road in as bad a shape as they are, it would be costing us a lot more money than what it is right now for just equipment and everything else and stuff. And if you start, and don't get me wrong, I know how bad Back Creek is, and we all know that there's been a landslide over there, that the county's been almost, 5 years now, trying to fix the slide over there? That the road has been a mess. So for Bob's own thing, I mean, that's the county's road. And guess what? There are grandmothers and mothers, all of us have, that are 90 years old, they're in their 80s, that have health conditions on every one of our county roads, every one.
Exactly.
If the county put the roads up into shape where they should be, I've even talked to Bob about it, and Bob has said, if they put the money into the roads to bring them up to the standards of what my town roads are, he would consider plowing them. But he's not gonna spend taxpayers' money in the town of Boston on county roads that the county taxpayers should be paying.
But when I do remember, I've been here 21 years. I remember when that whole kibosh happened, when I forgot the supervisor's name that was in office, he had an argument with pulling cars and it stopped. So all of a sudden the county roads got in bad shape when that dispute happened. I mean, everything was going fine. And then that dispute happened, and I thought when that administration left, things would get back to normal, but they never did. And if that means sitting down and both parties, if it's polling cars, then, you know, and both parties have to sit at the table and do what's right by the citizens. And yeah, the roads, I don't disagree, they're in bad shape, but we
No, they're
can't
in
just
terrible
not
shape.
plow. We can't compare ourselves to Clarence or Amherst who don't get snow. We get snow. And if it comes, push comes to shove and you have to hire some people to plow during the winter, I don't know.
All I'm asking for, Bob, is if you could produce to me the advantages and disadvantages, the cost effectiveness, the monies at going out and the monies coming in. If you would go through that procedure, you could maybe make some believers out of the residents that this is a no-win situation, that we would go bankrupt, that we would go broke.
And then we, as citizens, we could go to the county and we could argue a point. But
Good luck with that.
Instead of complaining about the county, you're an adult, why don't you grow up and act like an adult and work on bipartisan support? It's all over the news, that's what they're talking about all across the country. Work on bipartisan support and work with people. Instead of pointing the finger.
I'd like to say that, you know, we all pay Erie County taxes, we all pay Town of Boston taxes, right?
Right.
Everybody pays the same tax. So for some reason, the residents of Back Creek Road are second-class citizens, like we don't get plowing services. I mean, that's absurd. And I understand, our road sucks, believe me, it's terrible. It's one of the worst roads in the entire county. I drive all over the county, right? But getting a road plowed for all the residents, right, is just a cost of doing business. So we need to figure out where the money needs to come from so that everybody in this town gets equal services. That's it, flat out. Equal services for everybody, we all pay it. I understand the county can take some roads in this, and maybe there's, like I said, there's some money coming in. That's a little win benefit. Figure out a cost-benefit analysis. If there's gonna be a plow that hits something, like one of their crappy cold patches they just did 2 weeks ago, and that's why they didn't drop the plows, because they're gonna rip the cold patches out that they put in, right? But is there insurance? What's the plow insurance, you know? Like, what do we have as far as like, what are our losses, you know? And just, I don't know, I'd like to see a resolution. Thank you.
November 7th, we had our chance to get rid of him, pulling carts. Missed it, got him for 4 more.
Yay, he's doing a great job.
But still, this is the town of Boston, it's not Washington. We can somehow find a way to work.
Yeah, I didn't bring pulling cards.
Got it.
That's all I have.
Thank you. I'll just toss it out there. I was saving it for my report. You probably saw me jotting down notes.
Oh, I wanted to say happy birthday to Marge Eddington and Mr. Shearville. That's enough.
Yes, we do have a birthday in the audience tonight.
90.
The secret's out, Marge. Happy birthday. So the county claim, yes, I will say, whether I was a councilman or now supervisor, and I hear what all of you are saying. Yes, there were problems before in the past, here we sit today. There's no secret, and I was tagged on Facebook, I hate social media, but I was tagged, I was asked to speak to this. So here I am in front of all of you because you brought your concerns to the town board. You pay my salary, I'm a public servant. So there's no secret that the town of Boston, since I've been in office, has had a standing open contract with the town of Boston. We just need to sign it, that is a fact. There is not support, we hear what we're hearing tonight in this courtroom, and that's where we sit. The rate, we can argue that rate, any of us in this room can argue that rate 10 ways to Sunday. That rate was established and set by the Highway Superintendent Association of Erie County. That is highway superintendents all across Erie County. That number was not established by Erie County Department of Public Works, which is Commissioner Geary, Deputy Commissioner O, or Mark Pullenhurst himself. That was set by highway superintendents. So the numbers that were disclosed, the numbers that are open to public consumption for information, that's how that all comes about. If the town of Boston chooses to enter a contract, we have the ability to pick and choose what roads. We don't want to plow Back Creek Road, we don't have to plow Back Creek Road. We could plow a different county road. We could plow Zimmerman. We could plow Boston State Road. We have the ability to pick and choose. The comments that are made about sitting down at the table, having a discussion, negotiating these, it's a contract. That's exactly what this is. So is there a potential here? Yes, there is. Unfortunately, as we're hearing, there's not support for that, which is why we are at where we're at today. But I can assure you that Commissioner Geary, Deputy Commissioner Oak, County Executive himself, we are the only town in all of Western New York that does not plow county roads. We do not have an agreement. So with that being said, those are the facts. That's where we sit today. And yes.
You made the comment that there's no support. Where's the
Well,
no support coming from?
If there's support, we would have to look at the gentleman in the back. I have his name here. My apologies, but cost benefit analysis. I come from project management. You're speaking my language there. So, the cost per lane mile, Erie County has roughly a little over 2,200 miles of road. If you just stretch that out across the United States, you're going from the East Coast to the West Coast. It's a large amount. Today's world, it's not getting any better as the years go on. There's no secret to the fact that labor is short, equipment, the highway superintendent's point, I mean, these trucks are easily $250,000, if not more. And that $1,400 per mile is not going to buy a new truck tomorrow, next year, or others. It's going to take a sizable amount of time. They need to look at, respectfully, and I'm not going to speak exactly for Bob, but being the board, looking at the invoices and other things that come around. So you have scraper blades, you have labor costs, overtime costs, you have salt, sand, brine. For the trucks that have the brine, you go all those things on. So cost benefit analysis, you take all that into account. That's where we need to have those conversations. That's where we need to see if it's an equitable decision moving forward for the town.
As well as an increased headcount, as well as more equipment.
Yeah.
As well as road materials.
Yeah, the argument can be made. I've certainly made this myself. A lot of the county roads, do we travel over them to get to a town road? Yeah, we do. So that's where we could possibly look at do that feasibility or cost benefit analysis. Again, looking at, okay, if you go down a section of Back Creek Road to get to all the town roads, really, we've got an increased cost of diesel, because the truck is now pushing a product, the snow or slush, material disbursement. If we had a fleet management system, we could track all of the consumption there, whether the disc is on, the disc is off. Erie County has that. Erie County uses Verizon's fleet management system. They can tell you, any of you as tax-paying citizens could reach out to the Erie County Department of Public Works office. They can tell you exactly where that truck was, when it last went over. When I called last Monday when we were having that snowstorm, the last time a truck was seen in the town of Boston, to support everything each and every one of you said tonight. Last time we saw a county truck on town of Boston, within the 36 square miles of the town of Boston, making sure I'm catching up everything here, was 3 p.m. That was the last time, folks. I had a conversation, because I called, actually the board has new contact information, as does the highway barn. There's a little bit of a, I'll call it a musical chair situation, where highway barn superintendents for Erie County were kind of moved around the area. That was not brought to my attention until I called who I thought was the Hamburg Barn. His name is Joe Donlin. And he says, I don't run the Hamburg Barn anymore. He goes, didn't they tell you? Nope, sure didn't know that. And so I distributed the list, once I received that, from Deputy Commissioner Hope to the town board, the highway superintendent. Anyway, long story short here is that when I spoke to Deputy Commissioner Hope that night, approximately, I think it was like 6:15, I'll call it, she had said the last time a truck was down Zimmerman Road, because I live off Zimmerman Road on George, she said it was 3 p.m. I said, I know. Like I said, Karen, I'm sitting at home, and I haven't seen a truck. And I said, my concern is, we have Boston Valley Elementary School, we have a member of our board member who works for the schools, and I gotta tell you, Fisher Bus is gonna be calling me like they have before in the past, just like you residents have reached out to me. These are kids. My daughter was part of that. My daughter was one of the buses that went off the road on Zimmerman Road, because Zimmerman Road had over 12 inches of snow on it and went off over by Heinrich. I get it. I'm a citizen. I'm a citizen. I'm a public servant. I'm a citizen out there. I've got a family. I hear all of you loud and clear. We do need to take a look at this as a board, but from a cost benefit analysis, yes, we need to look at either adding headcount, potentially equipment, and then really what that negotiated rate is. And again, that rate is set by highway superintendents. That's fair being fair. That's not a town board discussion. That's not a county executive conversation. That's not Erie County legislator. Erie County superintendents agreed to that dollar amount. That was then put in front of the Erie County legislature, bipartisan support, passed unanimously, and that's what determined that contractual price per lane mile. So there's kind of everything soup to nuts. Yes.
So if you could decide on the contract what roads you want to plow as the town, will the county then pick up those roads that we decide not to plow by the town?
Well, that's, in theory, that's the, hit the utopia button, right? That's the theory there, right? So that 2,200 lane miles, I shouldn't speak for the county. Legislator Mills and I, we've had conversations. The county is also, like everyone else, they're having their own struggles, bringing in labor. I mean, even with their salaries are higher than what we pay here in Boston, there's just not people willing to make $35, $36, $37 an hour. It blows my mind in today's world, but that's the reality of it. NFTA is having that problem. I'm not trying to get the county out of this situation, but their struggle is having the labor force to actually clear the roads. The past, I'd say, approximately 3 to 4 years, if you see a county plow go by your house, you could almost set that stopwatch, and you made the analogy before, you make a town road that I live on, every couple hours, and that's Bob and his crew, they always do a great job. I'll absolutely echo their accolades for how they keep the town roads. County plow, 4 to 5 hours. So here we're in the Boston Hills, we're getting 2 inches of snow, 4 to 5 hours, simple, easy math. We know we're looking at roughly 12 inches of snow on the ground, and that's our first responders who serve our community, that get out of bed in the middle of the night to take care of us. Yes, there's been many conversations behind the scenes. I would be lying if I said there weren't. There's been many. It's just a matter of, is this something the town board wants to enter into the said contract, and then have the support from the highway crew to do said contract.
And what can we do as citizens? Can we contact, you mentioned John Mills? Can we-
Legislator Mills will be here, through the channels, the proper chain, if you will, chain of command will be Legislator Mills' office. I'd be happy to provide that information to anybody that wants it. You can certainly call town hall, you can call my office, you can call the town clerk, we can get that to you. But I'd start with Legislator Mills. There's no secret that he knows about a lot of what's going on here. And then Deputy Commissioner Hoke, she and I have been working extensively, for the most part extensively on this over the past couple of years that she's been the Deputy Commissioner. But Commissioner Gary also knows this. He and I, and actually, I should get a gentleman's name. He retired. He was the past Deputy Commissioner. But anyway, he and I, Charlie Sickler was his name. Yeah, Charlie Sickler and I, we were originally the ones, when I came in as supervisor, had some conversations, and the documents that, respectfully, the public that had asked the town for the documentation for the past contract, those were the documents Charlie Sickler had provided to me. So, again, that's all free public information that can be shared and openly disclosed.
Jason, didn't the county just put a layer of blacktop down just a little while ago where the slide was so that the plows could at least go through Back Creek for the winter time because of the fishery that was there, that was open?
Yeah, well, we have a full room tonight. Yes, so if you're not familiar with the slide on Back Creek Road, boy, that was, I think, my second week in office as supervisor. Yes, that is almost 6 years old now. And the status of that is that there was a roughly 2-inch, for those of you who haven't either watched at home or looked at board meeting minutes, there's roughly a 2-inch crack, approximately 12 to 14 inches deep, depending on the area. So when the crews that Erie County contracted with, when they rebuilt that area, the whole, it's called shelving, that whole area, that repair slid down. And of course, there's concern of, okay, is this gonna move anymore? What's gonna happen? We've got solid waste trucks going through there. We have school buses going through there. They worked with the vendor to put in GPS cams in that location, which is also part of board packets. Everything that I've received, I've tried to include as correspondence. So if you want it, you can ask me for it, or it's, feel free to go out to the town website, look at the board packets. It's all there. But you'll see the cans and the locations and how much they've moved. It's, for the most part, fractions of an inch, it hasn't moved yet. And the decision was made at the last construction meeting to pause the project over the winter season to get that freeze-thaw cycle, to see what happens with heavy thaws, to see what happens with the rain. And they're going to put in, I believe the terminology was I want to call it a shear key, but it was a something key that was allegedly locked that into place. So that was the engineering design, that was the fix, and they were going to put a top binder coat on that area so it could be plowed over the winter season. And we're going to retain their Jersey barriers throughout the winter season, and then come spring, should nothing be in a jeopardy of going to disrepair, they're going to go through and finish all of the all the drainage infrastructure. They're going to put up the proper guardrails, and then finally put on the top coat. And quite frankly, it's probably going to be the one. I chuckle, but it's going to be the nicest piece of Back Creek Road that we as taxpaying citizens have seen in quite a long time. It's kind of crazy. But that's the situation on this slide. Yes, that's taken almost six years.
Is this still question and answer?
Sure, why not? I've already opened up that Pandora's box.
The cost benefit analysis comes back where it's gonna cost the town $100,000 a year to maintain the county roads. Where's that $100,000 gonna come from?
The town.
So you're asking taxpayers that pay town taxes to pay more because the county's not doing their job? I'm not even sure that's legal or constitutional.
There's the conundrum, right?
Thank you.
You're right. And yes, that is a real situation.
But we won't know that until the cost analysis is done.
That's the problem people talk about taxes, because nobody in God's green earth want their taxes to go up. but when you have a situation like that, there's only so much money coming in for the town of Boston, and when everything goes up, as it's been going up, every time you turn around, something's going up, you know, so where does that money come from? And then you add another $100,000 on top of it for a highway department, to cost that, okay, we'll distribute it to the taxpayers. You can do the same thing with water or anything else. When you explore that stuff and you oversight, somebody's got to pay for it. And
Well, the bigger, you know, I'll go on record saying this too. I've had this conversation with the Erie County and other areas. It's called the Association of Erie County Governments. It's supervisors and mayors all across Erie County. It's essentially really formed before the Erie County Legislature existed. There's a board of supervisors, if you will. We're the ones that represent you. You come to our board meetings. We rolled that back up to the county back in the day. That still exists today, but it blows my mind, and I will use that verbiage, that on social media, I can see where 2 to 3 county plows rolling down a county road in West Seneca, roads wet, hardly any snow. Whereas why in God's green earth are they not shifting assets to the south towns where they know the snow band is? This is common sense. Again, I come from project management. This is operational policy procedure, and I could go on and on. I'm not going to get on the soapbox. I promise all of you. But the fact is, this is proper asset allocation. You know, if you have a storm and you know where you're getting hit, you shift the resources. You don't run them over wet roads. I've had that conversation. I promise. I've had that conversation with both the commissioner and deputy commissioner. I don't know why that doesn't change. It's like the definition of insanity. You know, you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you expect a different result. Why is that not happening? Also, why the county, on their report, they had scathing reviews regarding the handling of the past 2 winter storms just a year ago. Fact, you know, not our public opinion. That was a independent review and audit of county operations. I mean, we have a resident who made the comment that we had a chance to change things. It didn't change. I'm not making that a political statement, but we need to do better, and I agree, we need to do better. So.
Just to throw it out there, Jason, because I haven't heard it yet, Mr. Telak kind of alluded to it when he talked about a child dying due to a car accident, but the cost of a life, right? That has to be part of the equation when you're doing that cost analysis.
No cost. No cost on public safety.
Yeah, exactly.
I've openly stated that time and time again.
can't put a price on it.
Nope.
That's where the county needs to figure that out, either be proactive or reactive, because if something happens,
And, yeah, that's when
they're gonna be reactive, and they're gonna be all over Boston plowing roads after that.
Yep, and it's a challenge. I wish I had the answers. It's working with our partners at the county, but the door is open, the dialogue is certainly available on the table to enter that discussion. It's just a matter of.
Yeah, especially since you're saying they're West Seneca, you know, plowing up there, and they can see the roads are clear, and down here, you got a foot of snow.
Proven fact. Yep, date, as I like to say, IT world, date, timestamp, and photograph is worth 1,000,000 words. It blows my mind. I don't get it. But I'm here to work for all of you, as is this board. If there's something we can do, we'll try to move the chains forward on this one. But it's as our other resident, Mr. Simmons had stated, it's a hard pill to swallow if the town has to come to the table with additional town taxpayer money, not county taxpayer, town taxpayer money, to offset the lack of ability to do that. And it's tough, because we have a 2% tax cap that we're supposed to stay under. It's not a perfect world. We like to try to stay under that, see how the world shakes out. But let's face it, that 2% tax cap in this most recent adopted budget for 2024, that's a growth factor of $100,000, to put that in perspective. So when I'm talking about that new truck, we're talking about, maybe respectfully, our highway superintendent brings very valid points to the table. We're looking at overtime. We're looking at O&M for the truck. We're looking at I already said overtime, the truck, the O&M. It's good. It exceeds that. It's a shame. It's frustrating. But hopefully we can work out something. Okay, I think I can close that Pandora's box, maybe. Truly, though, anything we can do, please reach out to us. All right, moving right along. I'll let Councilwoman Selby. You have the floor.
Thank you. I don't even know how to even address any of these issues. I'm like blown away, but I am willing to work, and I appreciate you guys, Jason and Bob and everybody coming out and enlightening us to the facts out there that maybe some of us on the other side of the hill or in the subdivision aren't really aware of what's going on. So I appreciate that insight, and hopefully we can work together to come up with something anyways. In other happy events, happy birthday, Mr. Scheer, 100 years, and Marge, 90th, happy birthday. So inspirational, your lives, both of you, you know, it's just wonderful. Anyways, thank you, and that's all I have for tonight.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Lukic, you have the floor.
Thank you, I'll keep it short. Planning board meeting next Tuesday. If anyone's interested in listening in, that's about all I have, and happy birthday. Mr. Scheer and Marge, thank you for allowing us to be part of you and part of what you do and how you care for the town. It's much appreciated, so thank you. That's all I have.
Councilwoman Martin, you have the floor.
And I will reiterate, thank you, Mr. Scheer, both for your service and for being here today, and happy birthday to you. And Marge, you're an inspiration, your commitment to the town and everything you do, I'm always very impressed. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, you have the floor.
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. Town of Boston Sharing Tree, located in the foyer, had tags with wishes for 20 children in our community. All of those tags have been taken. So if you do have a tag with a wish from a child, they will be due back Monday, December 18th. Some of the tags did have the date of Friday, December 8th. So please return those gifts and tags to me as soon as possible. I do want to thank the members of the community that do participate every year in taking those tags for those children's needs. And Legislator John Mills worked in partnership with Erie County Senior Services to have HEAP here yesterday in the courtroom. They were here along with Feed More of Western New York. The representatives were steady with the residents coming in to inquire about the services. I do have HEAP applications if anyone is interested in picking one of those up. I also have been provided with winterization kits. They're a small bag from National Fuel for anyone in need of any of those winterization. There's the plastic for like a large window or door that it would be in there and along with the foam. I received an update from Barbara Moore regarding the unit's blood drive. Yesterday's blood drive was here in the community room. 22 units impacting 66 lives was collected. In 2022, 268 lives 268 units were connected. Lives impacted was 804. So in 2023, that increased to 306 units, which impacted 918 lives. So she did ask that I read the rest of this with many thanks to the Office of the Town Clerk and our office staff for making this schedule possible and workable. To Sean Vanderdoes, he is our laborer, for handling all the tricky door locking issues and always being on hand to be helpful. Sean will come back oftentimes after the blood drive picks up, and he may lock up at 7:30 or 8 o'clock after he was already here at 9 in the morning, or sometimes earlier if there's shoveling to be done. To Jay Jackson for continuing to spread the good word and keep us updated. To Jamie Big Eye, he is the account executive at Connect Life, whose innovative approaches and enthusiasm keep the drive growing. To each and every person who showed up to donate and ultimately save lives of our loved ones, friends, neighbors, and total strangers. The next blood drive is January 2nd, 2024, 2 to 7 in the community room. Just to leave you with something to think about, if we add 30 donations to the Connect Life Town of Boston blood drive over the course of 2024, the number of impacted lives will be over 1,000. That is only 2.5 additional people per drive. So she requests that they come and bring a friend. And as she ends, wishing God's blessings for all, Barbara. that, and this is, I consider this a community activity. So Jay Jackson had asked that I report on the manger. Neither Jay or Councilman Cartagini were available to be at the meeting this evening. They have been involved in the process since the inception, and so the update from Jay is, on Sunday, November 12th, a group of 12 Boston residents got together at our manger to start the repair process by removing the leaky roof. All the shingles and rotted plywood were removed and the waste thrown away. The following week, Kursk Construction installed the new roof with plywood and lumber donated by Rucker Lumber and shingles donated by a Boston resident. After finishing the roof, Kursk removed the trailer to its display position across the street. Then on November 26th, a group of 14 residents came together and placed the newly cleaned and painted manger figures and decorated the trailer with the donated trees, straw, and pine boughs. According to Facebook posts, our community really appreciates the work these people did. Another update is planned after the season closes. A journal of the work so far, including pictures, can be found at boston-online.com. Thank you again, and thank you very much, Jay Jackson. All right, and I just want to express happy birthday, 100 years to Fred Shearer, and also to Marge Eddington, 90th birthday. Not everyone gets to have their name on the marquee at Runners. So I think all of us have something that we need to live for.
You're famous.
Yes, she is. Both Fred and Marge are certainly pillars in our community. I don't know if any one of us here could live up to what they have done for the town of Boston. And there's been some other Christmas concerts. I know the Boston Town Band was at Boston Valley this past weekend, and there will be another concert if you're looking for some activity to do to get out and listen to some jazzy big band music. That will be at Churchill Memorial United Methodist Church on Saturday, December 16th at 2 p.m. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I know we spoke a whole lot about plowing, so if there are any additional questions, as always, I'm happy to chat with anyone regarding the plowing. For Legislator Mills' contact information, I know you probably saw me looking at my phone, my apologies, but I was trying to see if I had, we don't have the Legislator Mills information on our town website, but anyone that does want it, please feel free to give my office a call tomorrow morning. I'll be happy to get it to you, or you can take a look at the Erie County website, and his contact information's out there.
Do you have his number?
You do have it?
And no, right here. Yeah, Legislator Mills' office is 716-858-8850, and it's 858-8850. It's john.mills@erie.gov.
Okay, could you repeat that phone number?
Absolutely. 858-8850.
Always has the information at her fingertips. Always.
Don't put that kind of pressure on me.
Okay, so moving right along, so some good news. Different board meeting reports, some folks, residents have heard me talk about the ErieNet program, which is 400 miles of dark fiber. I'm actually very happy to say, yes, I'm a sitting board member on that board as well. I volunteer there. But to our surprise, even as a board, we are actually starting construction in Boston and also in Concord for the ErieNet 400 miles of dark fiber. That'll be a huge service to the southern Erie County, the south towns. It does have to be built out from the Rath building, but this will be, the primary goal is to connect towns, cities, villages, libraries, fire companies, and standalone emergency squads such as ours to this fiber optic network. I guess a comparison is Tom Golisano, he has the Green Light Networks, and then out in the Monroe County area, there's Frontier, and a lot of people associate Frontier with the old Frontier mobile phone service. They're in the fiber optic field, and they're just knocking the ball out of the park. They're doing a great job. So this ErieNet LDC, Limited Distribution Corporation, we're looking at making that connection. We thought originally we were going to try to light up, as technical terms, but light up that fiber going out to Grand Island, and ironically, there's a big push to get it into the south towns, and They picked Boston and Concord for the first two. It's really cool. So geographically, it'll help connect the areas during the pandemic where, you know, parents or students or other areas, or other residents said, hey, we don't have internet out here. We don't have an option, maybe DSL, but we don't even have Spectrum in some areas. So that, you know, that will be something that, you know, I'll have more information on, but that it's really great news. Nate Benson from Channel 2 News will probably be doing a news article on this in the near future, and we hope that it does provide some additional competition, plus with the hopes that Verizon Fios, and this is something, because I was also the cable TV liaison back when I was in Councilman Martin's position as a councilman, but Verizon Fios, residents have been asking this for over a decade, and Verizon admittedly did not want to light up fiber. They admittedly do have it at the fold. They pay taxes on that for that agreement. But now we have competition, so who knows, we might be getting some fiber optic connectivity throughout Boston. I'm super excited. I think it's a great opportunity. One of the reasons I had offered to volunteer and interview to be on that board, it's great for the town, so I'll keep you posted on that. So that's some exciting news. Erie County Storefront Revitalization, that's if you happen to notice at George's Hot Dogs this year, they received some funds from Erie County this year for the new roof and some other upgrades at George's Hot Dogs. The next two local businesses, which is fantastic for them, Vicenic, and then, and my apologies because I'm forgetting the new salon is just down the road where Western New York Dental Associates used to be right across from.
That's the old 391.
It's a different name.
The owner, it's under the Bay Cave.
That's it.
But
Bay Cave.
that was the salon that.
Yeah, the Bay of Cave is who was awarded the $40,000 funds, so some additional improvements there as well. So kudos to those two organizations for receiving that funding for the storefront revitalization. I know I touched base on county roads. I won't continue to kind of kick and beat the dead horse there, but really, that is something that is open for discussion. It's just a matter of, I agree with many of you, it's sitting down at the table and trying to come up with some kind of resolve to this, because you know, we're not doing anything right now, and yeah, I guess there's always an opportunity. When you're not doing anything, you have nowhere to go but up. So I'll remain optimistic there. See how that all shakes out. Town board and I, we had some conversation downstairs at the work session tonight. We have our reorganizational meeting coming up in January, and with our next town board meeting being on December 20th and close to the holiday, we are going to be canceling that item. Or that meeting due to, I'm going to chalk it up to lack of agenda items due to the holiday, so there will not be another meeting this year, so we'll see everybody next year. And again, I always feel awful bringing this topic up, but I know it's the flu season amongst us, and I've had the phone calls, so please don't shoot the messenger, puns intended, for bringing this up. But COVID test kits, we've had a lot of calls. RSVs out there, it's cold flu season. Please don't spend money going to CVS or other areas. We have them here. If we start to run low, we can ask Erie County. Erie County taxpayer dollars have already paid for these test kits, so don't run to CVS, don't pick them up at Walgreens or anywhere else. Your money's already been spent. Just let us know how many you need, we'll give them to you. Last but not least, since we're not having a meeting in December, Merry Christmas to all. That's what I believe. So Merry Christmas to everyone. Mr. Scheer, happy birthday again. Thank you for your service. Thank you for everything you've done for the community. I know I'm only a resident of the community for 14 years, originally from Syracuse, but it's always an honor to meet somebody that's turned 100 years old. You happen to be the second resident in town. The resident who lives on Back Creek Road, who's now 102, I had the honor of meeting her and celebrating her 100th year birthday. It's an honor, and thank you for everything that you do with the fire company now. So, and Mrs. Eddington, happy birthday to you. I hope you have a great birthday. Thank you for spending it here at the town hall with us tonight. And without further ado, it's been a long meeting, and so I'll make a motion to end the meeting at 9:07 p.m.
Second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukaczyk?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried, meeting adjourned.